Because I guess you can't give someone purpose. A lot of us spend so much of our lives trying to motivate people, right? To motivate friends, families, siblings, whatever it might be. And I'm wondering if there's a thing we can do as like loving friends or whatever to give someone that kick.
Yeah. So, a couple of points, I guess, on that. In regard to discovering purpose, it can't be done for someone. So I always say that purpose is never achieved, it's attained on a daily basis. So the mistake that people make with purpose is they confuse it with an end goal. So here's my purpose, and they have this vision statement of what they're seeking to, achieve or create, whatever it might be, and they get practical and tangible about it. But purpose isn't that. Purpose is achieved on a daily basis. Purpose is never achieved, it's attained on a daily basis. And this is why Tiger Woods keeps working. This is why Warren Buffett keeps working. It's why Richard Branson keeps working. It's because it's never achieved, it's attained on a daily basis. So I think that, we need to find something which is purposeful to us, and then we need to lose ourselves to it on a regular basis. So once we start to become more purpose-driven and express ourselves in a particular way, I always say being a good colleague, being a good business leader, being a good sports person is not seeking to impress. It's about seeking to express and be ourselves in the context of our work. So once people can find that within themselves, then I think they can direct their energy and their focus in a particular way and become much more purpose-driven in how they go about their daily activities. But you can't give someone that purpose. It has to be theirs. And I think life is about timing. I think some people find that very late. Some people find that very early. And it makes no difference. We're all individuals. In regard to helping other people make change, we're almost too quick to go towards behaviors. So we tell people to be different all the time. Tell our team members, you should be more collaborative, guys. And guys, you need to be more innovative. And tell our children to keep their rooms tidy. So we're constantly talking to people about behaviors. Say to our friends that you should give up smoking or eat healthier, whatever it might be. The only way in which you change actions is by changing thoughts. So we think and then we feel and then we act. That's how we work. So if you're constantly working on actions, we're telling people to be different. And this is why New Year's resolutions fail. From tomorrow, I'll be different. Yeah. Start doing this. I'm going to stop doing that. And we start talking about actions and behaviors. We need to go back to the precursor of all our actions, which is our thoughts. So the only way in which you genuinely drive commitment rather than compliance when it comes to change in your team, in your friends, in yourself, is by changing the words and pictures in your head or their head to drive different feelings and then different actions. There's a little tip which I sometimes give leaders, and I say to leaders, never say to your team you're going to make a change. You say to your team you're going to make a change, they won't like it. Say to your team, I'd like to try an experiment. They'll all be on board with it, and we'll give that a go. That's okay. Mm-hmm. So even just a difference in language to allow someone to think differently or make them feel differently and hopefully therefore choose to act in a different manner.
And how would I get someone to change their thoughts?
Yeah. So have you got anyone in mind? I think the best way is gamification. What holds people in place is what they believe to be true. And so people will sit around a boardroom table and they'll discuss strategy. And they'll say, we can do this, but we can't do that. And they'll have a viewpoint on budgets, on consumer buying behaviors, on compliance and governance. And that's what holds us in place. So what we need to do is break free of some of the parameters that we think are in the way. So if we got people around a boardroom table and say, look, guys, let's just this strategy piece that we're going to talk about. Let's imagine we got an unlimited marketing budget for it. If we had an unlimited marketing budget for it, I know we haven't, but if we had, what would we be doing? How would we be doing it? If we had no marketing budget, what would we be doing? Now, what we're doing here is that we are helping people to move outside of the mental tram lines that we all operate under and the habitual thinking. So let's ask some what-if questions. Can you imagine that, a life if you weren't smoking? What would it look like? What would you be doing today if you weren't smoking? What would you spend your money on that you save on cigarettes? Just play the game of what if. So let's break free of some of the things which are holding people in place by not by conflict, not by arguing and debate in a confrontational manner, but finding some common ground and working from there. And the common ground is let's play a game.
And you said there, about people finding that purpose in their lives. We hear this phrase a lot, which is find your passion.
Yeah.
And I almost feel that it's in many respects quite harmful, because that question is kind of loaded. It assumes a singular passion for a start. It assumes that you can discover it like an Easter egg. And also the context in which that question usually sits in, it implies that once you find it, then it's, it's a can of unlimited like happiness and orientation forever. And then that's yours. And I just feel like sometimes language can be harmful, because it simplifies very complex things, and sometimes multifaceted plural things, So I wondered if that phrase, find your passion, was something you felt similar about, or
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's true that passion can be a significant multiplier of human potential. So, if people are passionate and engaged in a business, they can direct their energy in a worthwhile and meaningful manner. So it's worthwhile. But you're right that there's a big difference between passion, a big difference between happiness and joy. Some are in the moment. I think joy is in the moment. I think happiness is something that we continually adjust towards. Passion can be a significant multiplier of human potential, particularly in the workplace. So it does have a place. It is something which is useful to understand. And then ultimately, it always comes down to personal introspection and self-awareness for me. And I think that we need to work harder at understanding ourselves. And when we are constructing a mindset which is conducive to performance, so we optimize our potential when we're in a particular state of mind. And that state of mind might be passion, it might be relaxation, it might be enthusiasm, it might be enjoyment. But we need to almost get to know ourselves and know that there are certain things which enable us to do others. And once we work backwards and understand what that looks like, maybe we can gain some more consistency. I say to a lot of sports people and to a lot of business people that consistency of mind gives you consistency of play. And I'm convinced of it. The more consistent we can be in our thinking, we understand the building blocks, the component parts to success, the more success we can have.
And how does one establish consistency of thought? Because I completely agree with that. I completely agree. I've seen that in my own life. When I've been consistent with my thinking, I've managed to, perform the same habits every day.
Oh.
But then sometimes I'll lose consistency in my thoughts because I lose attachment, or sort of my anchor with my